Okay, so I've had quite a few questions regarding this Butunleme description, the Butunleme assignment. So hopefully this can clear some of those still lagging questions up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen here. There it is. Share desktop. Okay. And now what you're going to see here is you're seeing two examples. I'm going to post a link to this folder as soon as I'm done recording this video. And what I want you to do is I want you to just kind of understand what's going on here. So here is an example 1 and an example 2. Very simple example. Basically, all it does is they're supposed to call this method. What we can imagine is the requirement here was that there was a class that had a static method that returned a string, okay, and then it took two string parameters and it put a comma between them. So here what we should get after this is a string that is this comma then this, okay, and then here what we would imagine is now this should return a string that then we put as the parameter to this other method again. Okay, so it's like we're calling the method twice. So what we would imagine is this would get us the value A, B, and C. Okay, so that's what we're expecting to see from these. Okay, so let's see if that works. So what we're doing is simple method. We take two strings, we put a comma between them through concatenation, string 1, comma, space, string 2. Okay, so we compile it. Okay, these class files get created. These are the class files. Notice there's a class file for example 1, a class file for my class. There's two classes here. Both of them get their .class files. So when we run it, what do we get? This, comma, then this, A, B, and C. Exactly as we would expect. Okay, so now let's look over at example 2. Okay, now you may sit here and look at this and say, oh, those are the same thing. But hopefully you recognize that there's a big difference here. Okay, this returns a string value. It takes two string parameters. It has the same name, but there's a big difference. It displays the two strings with a comma between them, and then it returns an empty string. It does not do the exact same thing. Okay, but what we're going to see is that when we compile it, and this is example 2, so let me scoot over there, and we see another set of class files here. Okay, that when we run it, what do we get? We get the same output. So just because the output is the same does not mean that the code is the same, right? Because what happens here is this, in this example here, this displays A and B with a comma between them. It doesn't return a string with A and B with a comma between them. Okay, so so what you've been given is if you look back at the 6 submissions from the final exam, what you saw over there, okay, those we showed you Java files. We gave you access to the Java files. Okay, now what we've done is we changed the name on some of them. We changed from like over here final underscore 1010 or whatever it was. We changed it to an A, a B, or a C. And then we recompiled it and we got the class files and we gave you these class files. So you may note that you see this myClass.class. If we go back to example 1, there's also a myClass.class. Just because those are named the same does not mean that what's inside of them is the same. So what you might do is you might look at this and say, well, how can I tell what's in what? How can I tell what returns the string with the comma between them, what just displays it and returns an empty string? Both of these examples give me the same value. Okay, so if you call it once with any of this, then that's going to be a problem, isn't it? So you need to figure out a way that you can run this method, right, with some other input that may tell you what it is and what's inside of it. And just as a heads up, I'm going to put this here. I'm not going to leave this. I'm not going to leave this. But what would happen?
What are you talking
what,
to?
what would you have? What would happen if? What would happen if instead of having it like this, okay, right, you did this instead? Let me put a parentheses there. All right. What would happen if you ran this line on example 1 and example 2? So if I run this on example 2, I'll show you what happens there. Notice that it gives me a different output, but would example 1 also give me this strange output as well? And that's something you can test. So this might be a way, different inputs will give me different outputs. Okay, this might be a way, not the only way, but a way that you could test to see what's inside of this method. Okay, I hope this helps. Again, I'm going to post a link to these folders as soon as this video is done processing and uploaded. All right, have a good time. I wish you luck and success on trying to figure this stuff out. All right, thank you.